For the 6th season in a row, Walters is the official bar of the Nats Chat podcast, located across the street from the ballpark, just off South Capitol Street.
Now the set. Here it comes. Swing a line drive deep center field, sending Scott racing back to the warning track. This one over his head, and it's over the wall. It's a line drive, 3-run homer that just would not sink. James Wood has tied this game. The Nationals 6, the Cardinals 6. He's robbed a homer, and he's hit a 3-run homer. He has done it all tonight. That was a screaming line drive that just never came down and just cleared the fence to the right of the 402 mark. What an impressive home run off the bat of James Wood. Here's the pitch on the way to House. Swinging a fly ball, deep left center field. Way back it goes, and this one is going, and it's gone. And the Nationals have the lead 8-6. Huge 2-run homer for Brady House. His second of the year. The Nationals have put 5 runs on the board here in the 8th inning. Brady House fired up as he crosses the plate with a first pitch 2-run homer on the heels of the Meade double and the Wood 3-run homer. What an answer for the Nationals. Here's Abrams, 8th man to bat. The pitch. CJ hits one at deep right field. This one headed toward the bullpen. Way back it goes, and it's gone. And the Nationals lead 9-6. Abrams' 4th home run, his 13th RBI, and the Nationals have 3 long balls here in the 8th inning against the Cardinals. This offense is on fire.
And welcome to Nats Chat, along with Washington Nationals insider Mark Zuckerman of NatsJournal.com. I'm Al Galdi, host of the Al Galdi podcast. Mark is at Nationals Park, where the Nats have improved to 4-6 in MLB's 2026 regular season. A 9-6 win over the St. Louis Cardinals at Nationals Park on Monday evening in Game 1 of a 3-game series, a game in which the Nats overcame a 6-3 8th-inning deficit by scoring 6 runs in the bottom of the 8th. The Nats snapped a 5-game losing streak, and this game, as much as anything, was about not just what, but who. James Wood, Brady House, C.J. Abrams, the 3 most important position players for the Nats at the major league level right now. Each guy homered in that 6-run 8th. A thrilling win for the Nats. Good to have you with us. This installment of Nats Chat brought to us by Table to Mat, which you can count on for all of your nutrition and personal training needs. Table to Mat offers virtual and in-person nutrition services and personal training to the DMV area. You can email Table to Mat directly through the website at tabletomat.com. That's the word table, the number 2, MAT.com. MAT, just like the great Michael A. Taylor. Also, you can call Table to Mat at 240-388-2206. 7 of the Nats' 10 games have featured the winning team scoring at least 8 runs. We have seen some slugfest so far. That certainly says a good bit about the rebuilding Nats pitching having been a problem. But that stat also says a lot about the Nats offense, which overall has been good. Do you know that the Nats over 10 games have a team OPS of 809? Mark, this team is hitting, and this team on Monday evening hit big time.
And what a difference it makes, Al, when your best hitter actually joins the party in a way that he had mostly not for the first 9 games of the season. We were talking about how, they've done a good job offensively in spite of the fact that James Wood had done very little. Well, when you add him to the mix, as he did in this game, and it's not just the home run, it's a sharp single in the first inning. It's 2 walks that he drew as well. He reaches base 4 times in 5 at-bats. What a difference that makes. What a threat that he is. The 3-run homer, just phenomenal. The home run he robbed was phenomenal as well. This was a game that it felt really slow at times and it was dragging. And then all of a sudden, bottom of the 8th, bam, 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 3 home runs. Nats tie the game. Nats take the lead. Nats extend the lead. The next thing you know, they're winning it. And talk about a feel-good game. They needed it after what happened on Sunday. It was so nice to see them starting to go down that same path where the bullpen is turning a late lead into a late deficit, and then this time flipping the script and having the offense pick up the bullpen to win it.
A really fun game from an offensive standpoint for sure. The Nats were so good offensively in this game. 9 runs, 12 hits, which were 3 home runs, 4 doubles, and 5 singles. 7 walks, 5 for 12 with runners in scoring position. And yeah, the 6-run 8th inning. What a game for James Wood. He has the Nats starting right fielder and number 1 batter. 2 for 3 with a 3-run homer, a single, and 2 walks. And he made a spectacular defensive play. So the homer gets the headline, right? 6-run 8th, James Wood, a 1-out, 3-run homer to center field to tie the game at 6, despite having been down to the count at 1.12. The homer per StatCast, a projected 409 feet, and exit velocity of 114.3 miles per hour. Wood scorched that ball. Also, Wood in the Nats' 2-run first, a leadoff opposite field single through the left side of the infield to shortstop Mason Wynn in shallow left field. That single had an exit velocity of 104.3 miles per hour per StatCast. And he had the 2 walks. So a great night for Wood at the plate, second consecutive game in which he hits a 3-run homer. Wood would appear to be coming around offensively. But the moment of the night, I guess after the homer, I don't know if you could put this ahead of the homer, but certainly from a visual standpoint, the highlight of the night may well have been the catch by James Wood.
Now the pitch on the way, swung on, hit high in the air to right field, deep. Wood going back onto the warning track toward the corner. He lunges. He made the catch! He made the catch, and he holds on!
Top of the 4th, an outstanding running, leaping, home run robbing catch while going toward the right field corner for a 1-out flyout by Nolan Gorman. Wood crashed into the outfield wall, but held on to the ball for the putout. And there was so much that made this play impressive. The mid-air shot of James Wood going near full extension with the glove in the air, making the home run robbery, great to see. But the best part, to me anyway, was James Wood smiling after the play. Yes, he is capable of smiling. He is capable of deriving enjoyment from playing this game of baseball. And he actually cracked a smile after that play. I was happy to see that.
Yeah, so was I. I think a lot of people felt the same way. And you could tell because of the location that he makes the catch, it's right in front of the Nats bullpen. Those guys in there were giving it to him immediately. And I think that's what elicited the smile. The fact that they were right there behind the fence. He's giving high fives to them as they're reaching over to slap his hand. That was, look, I know it's going to be impossible for anybody to top what Joe Adell did the other night for the Angels, but the degree of difficulty on this one was pretty high. He ran a long way. He was shaded over to right center when the ball left the bat. He had to go a long way to get there, and on the run, reach up to grab the home run and then come down and still hold on to it. So this was no simple home run robbery. This was a legit one that required a lot of effort on his part. And he actually said himself, he was asked, what was your favorite moment of the night, hitting the home run or robbing it? And he thought about it and he said, it's robbing the home run. That one actually meant more to him because he knows they've challenged him to work on his defense. He wants to be known as more than just a great hitter. He wants to be a complete player. We've seen him in right field for the most part so far this season. We wondered how that was going to go. He certainly looked comfortable there on that play. The more he can do things like this, the more it reminds you that there is still a lot more to his game. And yes, he's ultimately going to be known for how hard he hits the ball and all the home runs that he hits, but he can be a complete player. And the long strides that he takes and the reach that he has at 6'7" to be able to even have a shot at robbing that one, he's just a unique player, I think, in that he is able to put himself in a position to make a great play like that.
Him flying through the air with the arm up and the legs flying out reminded me of the Michael Jordan Nike logo. Michael Jordan, for those of you who don't know, an all-time great player for the Washington Wizards. I think he may have played for another team, but that snapshot of James Wood reminded me of that Jordan logo. And, when we talk about James Wood and why is he playing right field, this is why. Because if you believe that this guy can excel defensively, don't just park him in left field. He's young. He's athletic. If you think that there's defensive upside there, don't just, make it so that he only plays the least of the 3 outfield positions in terms of defensive importance. See what he can do in right field. And he clearly did a good job in this game. And it was interesting listening to Nats manager Blake Butera during his post-game press conference on Monday night, talking about how James Wood can be an all-around great player. It's not just about the hitting.
To cover the ground like he did and rob that home run, like that's another reminder for James. Like, you have a chance to be one of the best all-around players in baseball.
The defense and the base running can be real strengths for James Wood, too.
Yeah, exactly. And I think, we sometimes react to him and think, boy, he doesn't look like he's running that hard or whatever. He's 6'7". He's got such long strides that it doesn't always look like he's running as hard as he truly is. And I think everybody has to remind themselves sometimes that he is a great athlete. He can run the bases well. He can run and cover ground in the outfield. And he has the athletic ability to pull off the Michael Jordan look. I think we need a new silhouette of James Wood going up for that ball. That could be the new logo for his eventual, sneaker line that maybe he has someday. He's got all the ability in the world to do that kind of stuff. And let's remember, he's still young. He's still learning a lot. He's had a lot thrown at him in a short amount of time. Maybe sticking him in right field and just letting him play there is good for him. Now, we'll see if there's days that Dalen Lyle is in the lineup. He probably could be moved back to left instead. But I'd love to just see him stay in one position, try to master it to the best of his ability, and then focus on his hitting and be the complete player, as I said, that they know he can be.
This is sports broadcaster Ben Raby and a longtime listener to the Nats Chat podcast. A while back, I was in the market for a personal trainers, and my ears perked up last season when I heard an ad from show sponsor Table to Mat. Proving the power of advertising, I reached out and eventually began a training program with Chad. And boy, am I ever glad I did. Chad will work with you to devise a personal program. The communication, the flexible scheduling, and the setup at his home gym are all great. I legitimately bounced around trainers and gym programs for years, and I've never had a more productive and enjoyable experience than working with Chad. Do what I did. Visit him online at tabletomat.com. That's table, the number 2, and mat, M-A-T. tabletomat.com. Reach out to Chad. Hear the terrific workout programs he can build for you. Plus, like you, he's a huge Nats fan.
Palante ready. There goes Abrams. Pitch is lined up the middle and down into center field for a base hit. Coming in to score Garcia and motoring for third is Abrams. Nasim Nunez makes it 2-0 Nationals. A bullet into center field in the first pitch with a runner going from first. The Nationals put up a crooked number here in the bottom of the first against Andre Palante and the Cardinals.
So for all of the talk about what has been going on with James Wood, for all of the talk about Dylan Cruz having been demoted to AAA Rochester, I feel like overlooked has been the success of Brady House. Brady House had a really good exhibition season, and Brady House is off to a torrid start here. House on Monday evening as the Nats starting third baseman and number 3 batter, 3 for 5 with a 2-run homer and 2 doubles, 8 total bases for Brady House in this game. He homered in that Nats 6-run 8th. He had a win-out first pitch, 2-run homer to center field for an 8-6 Nats lead. The homer per StatCast going a projected 423 feet, exit velocity of 110 miles per hour. He had the 2 doubles. He also got thrown out at home on what was a close play, and I think a forgivable out, an unfortunate out, but bottom of the 7th, the leadoff full count double to left field got thrown out at home by Cardinals left fielder Thomas Sajasi on a 7-2 double play, and tagging up from third base on a flyout by C.J. Abrams. Blake Butera challenged the call of out at home. The play was close. It did, at least to me, look like House was out at home. I'm interested in your take on that. But also with House, a diving stop at third base on what did end up being a single, but he does continue to look good defensively, and he's hitting his OPS for this regular season at 983. Brady House is doing really well.
And it's not just the results, it's the process. And we saw this in spring training. What was his biggest issue last year as a rookie? He swung at everything, did not draw walks. He could chase any breaking ball thrown anywhere in the vicinity of the strike zone and often very far outside the strike zone. They really challenged him to work on his plate discipline, the selection of pitches that he does swing at. And boy, you have seen the difference there. He laid off some pitches tonight that allowed him to continue at bats and then get to the point where he could hit 2 doubles. I mean, he ripped both doubles down the left field line. And then the home run, of course, was a fantastic piece of hitting as well. And this isn't just in a vacuum. We have now seen this over the course of spring training and over the course of the first 10 games of the season. He is playing, as you mentioned, really good defense at third base. There are a couple plays tonight, diving for balls down the line. He maybe didn't complete every single one of them. He didn't really have a shot at all of them. But the fact that he got to all these balls and made the plays, this is a big development, I think, for the Nationals. If Brady House can step up and become the true first-round pick that he was and show that what we saw last year was not really the full version of what he can be, that is a huge development for this team, for that to happen. The play at the plate, here's what I'm going to say about it. I think it was fine for Victor Estevez, the third base coach, to send him. It was a shallow fly ball. But as we saw, it took pretty much a perfect throw and tag to get him. It was a bang-bang play. I think the onus here is on Brady House on the slide. He went in feet first. He went straight at the plate, and you could see his front foot kind of got caught in the dirt. You see this often at the plate. The foot might be ahead of the tag, but it's either up in the air or it gets stuck and doesn't actually touch the plate before the tag is made. That's a play to me. Generally, I'm a fan of sliding feet first, but on a play at the plate, I think you go head first, you slide around to the side, and you just try to stick your hand in around there and avoid the tag and touch the plate. I think he would have been safe with a better slide.
Yeah, and Ryan Zimmerman said as much on the telecast on Nationals.tv. Zim was sitting in with Dan Kolko and Kevin Franzen on Monday evening, and Zimmerman said, look, I'm not a big fan, generally speaking, of the headfirst slide into home, but that may well have been an instance in which doing that would have been well advised. But still, really good game for Brady House. Another home run for C.J. Abrams. He is an at-starting shortstop and number 5 batter, 1 for 4 with a solo homer and a walk. Abrams in the 6-run 8th, 2-out first pitch solo shot to right field for a 9-6 Nats lead. Abrams for this regular season now OPS of 1,019. And as I'm about to reference the RBI stat, know this, C.J. Abrams, as we're recording this late night on Monday night, tied for number 1 in MLB in runs batted in, 13 over 9 games for him so far. So he's off to a good start. It's not just about the RBI. Like we said, the OPS is good. He's got 4 home runs as well. He's drawing walks too. Abrams' process is in a really good place right now.
I'm sorry, Al. I froze at the term RBI that you just mentioned. What is that stat exactly?
I just looked it up. I think it's one of these new age stats we got to get used to.
Yeah, I'll have to refer to my baseball prospectus to find out how that one works. Look, all kidding aside, it has been very impressive. And, you know, this is the C.J. Abrams we saw in the first half last year and the year before. He got off to good starts both year. We know that he wound up as an all-star one year, probably could have been the other year as well. This is exactly what you were hoping for from him after the slow second half, after the trade discussions of the winter. This is exactly what you would hope out of him. And to see him hitting the ball with authority, as you said, drawing some walks, showing some patience at the plate. We know he has the ability to do all of this. It's just a matter of doing it consistently and doing it for 6 months. In the Nats case, they may only be hoping he does it for 4 months and then hope they can turn that into something, into some prospects come the trade deadline. But let's not get ahead of ourselves. For now, just be happy that C.J. Abrams is off to a really good start at the plate, not just hitting home runs, not just getting on base, but yes, driving in runs, Al, from a spot lower in the lineup, which I think might be better suited for him than leading off. I think there's something to this. They hit him lead off for a couple years because he's fast, got pop. You know, you think, hey, this guy could be kind of a new age leadoff hitter. Well, maybe he really is better suited to be hitting somewhere in the middle of the order. Don't worry as much about getting on base. Worry more about, hey, driving in runs. Dusty Baker used to love the number 5 spot in the lineup. He said, that's my RBI guy. Well, C.J. Abrams, that's his RBI guy right now for Blake Butera.
Abrams consistently is batting in that number 5 spot, number 6 spot, and there would seem to be a purpose to that. It is an odd deal, though, because like the elephant in the room is the trade possibility, and the better he does that up the likelihood of him being traded? Like, is he playing his way out of being with the Nats and him playing so well right now? We don't know, but, you know, I think that is something to be wondering about. But whatever the case, Abrams off to a really good start. And yeah, James Wood, Brady House, C.J. Abrams, 3 ultra key players in the Nats rebuild, and each guy homering in that 6-run 8th inning. A few other items with the Nats offense in this game. Really nice RBI double by Jacob Young. He is the Nats starting center fielder and number 9 batter, 1 for 3 with an RBI double that came in the Nats 1-run 6th, a 2-out RBI double to left field on a 1-2 pitch to tie the game at 3. Young on that hit, did a nice job of pulling a changeup that was down and away. And Nasim Nunez, who pretty clearly has become the Nats' number one second baseman. He is the Nats' starting second baseman and number 6 batter, 1 for 5 with an RBI single and a stolen base. Nunez in the Nats' 2-run first had a 2-out first pitch RBI single to center field for a 2-0 Nats lead, and he had a 2-out steal of second base. But, I was thinking about this during the game. I brought this up on the last installment of the podcast. Luis Garcia Jr. has yet to start a game at second base in this regular season. We're seeing Nasim Nunez as the regular starting second baseman. I mean, we can go ahead and say this, right? Nasim Nunez now is the Nats' number one second baseman.
Yes, and, at some point he's going to have to show that he can produce enough offensively, to justify being the guy there every day. We know the defense is outstanding, and so far he's doing enough offensively. Hey, he's stealing bases, major league leader in stolen bases, and when he gets on at all, it's kind of automatic that he's stealing second. So that's good. We still don't really know in the long run what he's going to be offensively, and yes, he's going to have to do something at the plate to justify being the everyday second baseman. But yeah, it is clear that they're going to at least give this a try for a while now with him and prioritize defense and hope that he does do enough offensively to make it worthwhile.
Yeah, and obviously it can change, but you see this a lot where there is a changing of the guard and it's not stated, it's not declared, it just sort of happens. And if you just follow the actions, you see that it has happened, and it has happened here. Nasim Nunez now is the Nats' number one second baseman. Al Galdi here to tell you about Window Nation's The More You Buy, The More You Save sale. But before that, the Window Nation look into the future.
Woods looking at first. He throws. Pitch is swung on and sent down the left field line. Fair ball. Then headed into the left field's corner. Taylor digs it out. King touches third. He will turn for home and score easily. RBI double for Caden Wallace.
Well, happy spring. Window Nation is ready for spring, and Window Nation wants Nats Chat podcast listeners to know that there's no better time to upgrade your home with great Window Nation windows than right now, as Window Nation is offering to Nats Chat podcast listeners the More You Buy, The More You Save sale. Save up to 50%. Get your windows with 0% interest for 5 years. During uncertain times, one of the best investments that you can make is investing in your home. So visit windownation.com now to book a consultation and tell Window Nation that Al Galdi sent you. That's windownation.com and tell Window Nation that Al Galdi sent you.
Nationals 9, Cardinals 6. 2 balls, 2 strikes, 2 outs. Here's the set. And the kick and the pitch to Wynn. Swinging a ground ball, deflected by the pitcher to the shortstop, Abrams. He's got it. He throws to first in time, and the Nationals have their first home win here in 2026.
That starting pitcher in this 9-6 win over the Cardinals at Nationals Park on Monday evening was Zack Littell, and he did a nice job. 1 run in 5 innings, 6 strikeouts. He gave up 4 hits, which were a double and 3 singles. He did issue 3 walks, 70 pitches, 44 strikes, 26 balls. Top of the 5th, he allowed a run on a double, 2 walks, and a fielder's choice grounder. But he otherwise looked good in this outing number 2 for Littell in the regular season. Here, remember, he did not start his first outing. He came in relief of an opener, reliever P.J. Poulin. This was in the 3-2 loss at the Philadelphia Phillies last Tuesday evening, March 31st. Littell in that game as the bulk pitcher. 3 runs in 5 innings. Littell on Monday evening, 1 run, 5 innings, 6 strikeouts. Good to see the 6 strikeouts from Littell.
Yeah, this was much more like the real version of him. He felt that the only thing he didn't really love about it were the walks, and especially the fact that 2 of them came in the 5th inning. I think he was starting to fade there somewhat. He only threw 70 pitches, and they pulled him after 5, which says to me that he's not quite all the way there in terms of the stamina. But the crispness of his pitches was much better this time out. He felt that. He acknowledged it. He was hitting both sides of the plate on the corners. You saw the strikeout numbers. He's not always a big strikeout guy necessarily, but he was painting those corners in an effort to record all those early strikeouts. So that was good for him. The next step is just build that pitch count up to 90, approaching 100, so that he can now give you 6 innings or even go into the 7th on a regular basis. But we've been hearing for the last 3-4 weeks since he signed about what Zack Littell can be. I feel like this is the first time we actually saw firsthand what he can be. And it was a lot of good stuff that you saw from him. You got a glimpse of just how he can be a really effective starting pitcher who can get you deeper in games, even if he's not quite there yet.
And no home runs allowed. The home run has been a problem for Littell. It was a problem for him in his first outing. 0 home runs allowed for Littell on Monday evening. We cannot say that the home run was not a problem for the Nats bullpen on Monday evening. This was the negative for the Nats in this 9-6 win over the Cardinals. 3 Nats relievers combined to allow 5 runs in 4 innings. Ken Waldichuk allowed 3 runs in 2 into third innings. He, in the top of the 6th, allowed 2 runs, gave up a 1-out, 2-run homer by Ramon Urias to center field for a 3-2 Cardinals lead. The homer going a projected 414 feet per Statcast. Now, Waldichuk, to his credit, did then toss a perfect top of the 7th, despite facing the Cardinals numbers 1 through 3 batters. But Waldichuk, in the top of the 8th, gave up another homer. Gave up a leadoff opposite field homer by Jordan Walker to right field for a 4-3 Cardinals lead. Andre Granillo allowed 2 runs in 2/3 of an inning. He and the Cardinals 3-run 8th allowed 2 runs as he gave up a double, a single, and 2 walks. But Cionel Perez, he tossed a scoreless top of the 9th, despite giving up a 1-out single and issuing a 1-out wild pitch. And, there was some decent contact off Perez in this inning, but a scoreless top of the 9th. And good to see that off Perez having that disastrous outing in the Nats' previous game, the 8-6 loss to the Los Angeles Dodgers at Nationals Park on Sunday. Perez in that game officially allowed 4 runs without recording an out. So, a couple of things from the relief pitching in this game. The home run is a real issue. Nats relievers so far this regular season have allowed 12 home runs, tied for the most in the majors. But also Perez, Blake Butera going back to Perez, and Perez wasn't perfect, but does get the job done with the scoreless 9th inning.
Yeah, a real show of confidence in him to put him right back out there in that kind of spot. So that was important. They said they did start to work with him on closing his glove up a little more so nobody can see anything that might be going on in there. It was funny because he gave up the 1-out single and then a wild pitch. And all of a sudden, Jordan Walker's on leading off second base. And we're all watching him to see, is he giving any signs from there? Didn't seem like he was. And I don't know if that's either because Perez was doing a better job of concealing it, or maybe the Cardinals, they played late Sunday night in Detroit. Maybe they didn't pick up on what was going on there and haven't figured it out for themselves yet. But a nice show of confidence in Perez to put him back out there for that. The rest of this bullpen, look, they were shorthanded. You could tell that several guys were unavailable because for him to send Ken Waldichuk back out there for a 3rd inning in what is still a competitive close game, that told you a lot. The fact that Andre Granillo was the next man up. By the way, Granillo ends up getting optioned to AAA after the game. Talk about a rough night for him. He comes in the 8th after Waldichuk had given up the home run. He goes walk, RBI double, infield single, RBI squeeze bunt, walk, fielder's choice. He gets out of the inning finally. His teammates score 6 runs. So by baseball rules, that puts him in line for the win, the old vulture of the win. Except, no, not so fast, my friends. The official scorer actually took the win away from him, gave it to Cionel Perez instead of the save, and he cited, it's an obscure rule, but it's the brief and ineffective rule, which says that even if a pitcher was on the mound at the time the team took the lead and qualifies for the win, you can strip that away from him if he was not effective and if he wasn't out there for very long, and that certainly applies to Andre Granillo. So they took the win away from him, and then they took his job away from him and sent him down to AAA. Rough night for him. Another rough night for the bullpen. They've got to start to figure this thing out. I mean, props to the offense for picking them up, but I have a sinking suspicion we're going to be seeing more of these kind of games back and forth, and no lead is safe late.
The bullpen numbers are horrible. I mentioned the 12 home runs allowed. The bullpen ERA 6.34. The bullpen whip is 170. A whip that is approaching 2. I mean, that's atrocious. And we thought that this could be a real issue. Like, yes, you didn't feel glowingly confident about any aspect of the Nats coming into this thing, but The relief pitching, I think, was probably the biggest concern for most people from a standpoint of like what could be really, truly ugly. And the relief pitching so far has been ugly. But this win was not ugly. This was a great win, a fun win. If you were at the ballpark, hopefully you were able to enjoy yourself. And you tell us what you think. You can always hit us up on X at Nats_chat. You can find us on Blue Sky at Nats Chat Podcast. You can email us natschatpodcast@gmail.com. Game 2 in this series, Tuesday evening, 6:45. Cade Cavalli will be the Nats starting pitcher. This installment of Nats Chat brought to us by Table to Mat, which you can count on for all of your nutrition and personal training needs. Table to Mat offers virtual and in-person nutrition services and personal training to the DMV area. You can email Table to Mat directly through the website tabletomat.com. That's the word table, the number 2, MAT.com. You can call Table to Mat 240-388-2206. All Nationals radio highlights on Nats Chat are courtesy of 106.7 The Fan. For Mark Zuckerman, I'm Al Galdi. We thank you for listening, and we'll talk to you next time on the Nats Chat Podcast.
Now the pitch on the way. Swung on, hit high in the air to right field, deep. Wood going back onto the warning track toward the corner. He lunges. He made the catch! He made the catch, and he holds on! James Wood with a spectacular leaping catch up against the fence right down the line against the bullpen gate. From the seat of his pants, flipped the ball to the center fielder, Jacob Young, and then gave high fives to the relief pitchers reaching over the fence. That's the best play he's made in the outfield in the major leagues. Wow!